Mr. Miller. It's good to see you again. How are you today?
Good, how are you?
I'm fine. How's Tyler like his classes this year? Has he said very much to you about them?
He likes all his teachers this year. He's struggling a little bit in literature, but really enjoys his honors histories class. History has always been his favorite class. He is constantly watching the History Channel at home.
I know Tyler really likes Pawn Stars. We've talked about that. It's on quite a bit at our house too. My husband loves history almost as much as Tyler does. They have a lot in common. They get along great. You mentioned that Tyler is struggling in his literature class. Let's talk about that. Excuse me. It makes sense literature would be the class that is a little bit more difficult for him. His current IEP addresses his issues with literacy. If you remember a few years ago when Tyler was a freshman, he tested at a third grade reading level. In the last few years, he has been getting extra instruction in reading to see if we can try to catch him up to grade level. I know Tyler wants to go to college. We all need to work together to help him improve his reading skills to make that possible.
I'm concerned about that too. I'm afraid he won't be able to handle reading college material.
Right. He is making improvements. Recently, I tested him in the area of word recognition and spelling using the Brigance. I want to go over those results with you today, as well as make plans with you about his future instruction. Does that sound good?
Sounds good. Let's see how he's doing.
Okay, the first area I tested Tyler in was word recognition. In that area, he tested at the 8th grade level, which means he knows or can recognize words in readings written for 8th graders.
Oh,
Now, I don't want you to be discouraged. Even though Tyler is an 11th grader, testing at 8th grade level is quite an accomplishment for him. Remember, just 2 years ago, when he was in the 9th grade, he was reading at a 3rd grade level. He has jumped 5 grade levels in 2 years. I think we can continue to see this type of growth if we continue his educational plan.
I see what you're saying. I guess he really has improved quite a bit.
He has, and not only in word recognition. I'm going to compare all of his latest test results to his results from 2 years ago when he was at the 3rd grade level across the board. I also tested his spelling capabilities, and in that area, Tyler tested between the 6th and 8th grade levels. Let me break down the strengths and weaknesses he has in that area. I gave Tyler a spelling test of 10 8th grade words. He was able to correctly spell 6 of the 10, which places him at the 8th grade level for spelling. Not bad to compare to 2 years ago.
No, it's not. I'm happy with that.
Me too. He's at the 6th grade level for spelling words with suffixes like walked or examination. Even though he's spelling suffixes at a 6th grade level, he is using them in his writing at 7th grade level, which is better. But I'd still like to see him make improvements in that area. And I've addressed suffixes in his next IEP, which we'll talk about in a few minutes.
Okay.
All right, let's talk about prefixes. Tyler is able to spell prefixes at the 7th grade level, so he's a little bit better with prefixes than suffixes. But I'd still like to see improvement, so that also is going to be part of his new IEP as well. The last thing that I assessed on Tyler was spelling number words. He did a really nice job on that. He only misspelled the word 40. That places him at the 8th grade level.
Good.
Yes. My biggest concerns for Tyler is being able to spell words at his grade level, which I think will improve if he works on prefixes and suffixes, and his being able to read unfamiliar words in the 11th grade text. Do you have any other concerns or any thing you'd like to comment on at this point?
I just want him to read well enough to be able to attend college. I'm glad he's making improvements. Do you think that helping him with prefixes and suffixes will increase his reading skills?
I really do. The test showed those are the areas he most struggles with. So if we can improve in those areas, I think his overall reading and spelling skills should go up too.
That makes sense.
I think so. The last thing that I want to go over with you is the plan for Tyler's last 2 years of high school. I think his being on an IEP has been very beneficial. We've seen his reading ability go up drastically in the last 2 years. That being said, he's still not at the same reading level of his same aged peers. So I want us to continue providing Tyler with Tier 3 instruction by keeping him on an IEP so he gets the individualized instruction he needs to continue to improve. What do you think, Mr. Miller?
I think he's done really well with the IEP, and I definitely want him to stay one-on-one. He needs as much help as he can get, especially as college gets closer.
Good. I've written 2 IEP goals for Tyler to meet by the end of the year. Each of the goals has 2 objectives or mini goals for him to meet by the end of each semester, excuse me, to keep him on track to meet his yearly goals. So the first goal for the IEP is when words from an 11th grade text are dictated or told to Tyler, he will correctly spell the words with 60% accuracy. So let's say 6 words out of 10 and 3 out of 4 times. And within that goal, I have 2 objectives for him to reach. When seeing and hearing a base word, then hearing the base word again with a suffix, Tyler will correctly write the base word and its suffix with an accuracy of 60%, 3 out of 4 trials. So that's the first goal, and I'd like for him to try to meet that by the end of the semester. His other benchmark or objective to help reach his overall goal is that if he hears and sees a base word, then hearing that base word again with a prefix, he'll be able to correctly write that base word and its prefix with 60% accuracy, 3 out of 4 trials. And I think if he can reach those by the end of the year, that will help him reach his IEP goal for the year in spelling words with 60% accuracy overall. Do you have any concerns or questions about this goal or its objectives?
Yes, why is the goal 11th grade? That seems like a big jump if he's only at the 8th grade level right now.
Yeah, and that's a really good question. It does seem like a jump, but there are 2 reasons for this 11th grade expectation. First of all, Tyler is an 11th grader and using 11th grade curriculum. So it's where his goals need to be set. And also, if you look at this graph, I've created a base on his previous improvements. Reading at the 11th grade level is a realistic target for him to reach this year. Here's what he was doing 2 years ago. Here's where he is now. And following that projection, we can see on the graph that this is where he can be by the end of the year, the 11th grade level. He'll have to work, but I think he can do it.
I can't believe how much he has actually improved.
I know, he's done really well. Let's look at Tyler's second IEP goal. By the end of the IEP, when presented with a list of 10 words commonly introduced at the 11th grade level, Tyler will correctly pronounce at least 60% of the words in 3 out of 4 trials. So to help him reach that end of the year goal on his IEP, I've created 2 objectives or benchmarks for him. The first one is when he's presented with a list of 10 words with multiple syllables at the 11th grade level, Tyler will correctly pronounce at least 60% of those words in 3 out of 4 trials. Another mark that will help push him to reach his yearly goal is when he's presented with a list of 10 sight words that he can't spell out at the 11th grade level, Tyler will correctly pronounce at least 60 of those words in 3 out of 4 trials. How do you feel about that goal and its objectives, Mr. Miller?
Based on what we've talked about today, I think these IEP goals will work.
I think so too. They are challenging goals, but I think he can attain them. If you don't have any other questions, I think that's it for today. And remember, you can call me or email me anytime if you have a concern about Tyler. Do you still have my contact information?
Yes, I do.
Okay, well, Mr. Miller, have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, you too.